to you the Speaker of the House, the Honorable Willie Brown, Jr.
To my colleagues of elective office, Supervisor Kennedy, Supervisor Gonzalez, to my good friend, the Deputy Mayor, to the Board of Directors of OMI, and more importantly, to the people whose sweat, blood, tears, and prayers are represented now in this physical structure. When I was here 2 years ago, 3 or 4 months, you are right. I did say I want to cut the ribbon. I want you to know the next time I say that, I'm going to bring my own blade. We had all kinds of trouble with it. My brother leaned over to me as I walked in and said, "Hey man, why didn't you use your razor?" I am really delighted to be here seeing this dream actually come true. Because you know, in this crazy business, and I won't talk long today because this is a celebration and you really don't need to be preached at. I'm going to come back for the completion. I'm going to come back for the completion, and then that's what I'm going to preach. Until we get the other, what is it, $400,000 more? Yeah. So we need to do the drug clinic and the prenatal. All right. We need $400,000 more, so just know that we're just partway home. So we're partly celebrating. This is not really the celebration. I'm going to come back then and preach. But then I want to, however, share with you some of the things that have happened in my life of public service over the last 2 years that directly impacts upon your efforts at this Senate. Over the last 2 years or more, there's been an increasing amount of attention in the public sector, in the press, and almost every place about what's happening in our communities, whether they be urban-based communities, whether they be rural-based communities, or suburban communities. Everybody is raising questions, and in many cases, expressing fear, and anguish, and frustration as to not being able, in one manner or another, to get a handle on all these young people and all the gang activities and the gang violence. And politicians are an amazing collection of human beings. They literally become frozen into fear responses rather than other kinds of creative, alternative proposals that might, in fact, better and more effectively and more permanently address the problem. And those kinds of fear responses that we politicians have offered have come in the form of increased penalties imposed on everybody, with reducing people's civil rights and people's civil liberties in pursuit of security for each one of us in our communities. We're erecting greater barriers to keep the outside world out. We are building bigger prisons to put more people in. We're just being incredibly frightful in terms of our response. I, for the last few months, have thought backwards of my early days in Mineola. Whenever there was a problem in the community in Mineola, it was a community problem. If I was a bad boy, it was not just Miss Ann Lee's boy's problem. I got a whipping wherever I did the problem. If I don't remember was there. And then I got another whipping when I got home. And my mama didn't complain that somebody else put a board on her son's rear end or something that her son should not have done. I thought about that. And without any organizational structure or anything of that nature, there was just a community involvement in shaping the life of Willie Brown and in raising all of the young Willie Browns. And there was always a community celebration. If there was something wonderful that happened to anyone in the community, everybody celebrated. Everybody went to everybody's funeral. Everybody went to everybody's wedding. Everybody went to everybody's graduation. Everybody was concerned if somebody else was ill. There was a sense of community. We knew the neighbors, we knew the neighborhoods, no matter what the distance was between the various houses. I think, ladies and gentlemen, that's what's missing in our lives in this state and in this city and in this nation. And so I've been struggling many times in vain to try to apply that heritage and that upbringing to the public policy questions in California. It shouldn't surprise you then that I would be here at the time of your initial fundraising effort, that I would be here for your ribbon cutting ceremony, that I want to be a part of what you are about. Because you see, you are literally replicating on a grander scale what we did in raising me in Texas. You've said in effect, as I tried to say this summer, and I must tell you that as people go about mashing of teeth and throwing up of hands, saying that's nothing we can do with the young people, they're dropping out, 50% of them are dropping out of high school and other places, that they are into crack, that they don't want jobs, that they can make more money selling drugs, that's a more attractive alternative. Let me tell you, I reject all of that. I don't believe any of that. I don't believe those kids are dropping out as they're dropping out because they don't want to do it. I believe they're dropping out because you and I, in one manner or another, have given up on them and are not offering the opportunity for them to give them better direction and better role models. And in order to prove that, Tim Finley and some other people on my staff undertook the awesome task at the beginning of this summer to try to redirect some youngsters in San Francisco. Went to the police department, went to the community-based groups, went to almost anybody we could get our hands on in the private and public sector. And we said, we think we can put together an alternative program for youngsters during the summer to give them a perspective of life, to go with them to places they ordinarily would not have an opportunity to go, to give them some reason to get up in the morning and come to a facility and coordinate and operate and interact and communicate with other people. It won't work, however, unless we have parental